Well, hi everyone. So by now you've watched a few of your videos. You should have watched, I'll just pull it up here for you. So you should have watched these ones here. The what are percentages, which just describes them as a value, as a fraction, like a rational number, where the fraction is always out of 100. Percents and equivalent fractions is being able to identify a way of making a percent by turning it into a fraction that's out of 100. Finding a percent of a number, and what percent is it are more like the calculatory type things you can do with percentages, as is the last one, which is the percents missing total. All of them are described as to how you can calculate them, so that when you're working on your practical component, and this is the stuff from Math Space that you need to do this week, these particular ones here, so how to estimate it, converting between fractions and percentages and fractions and decimals, remembering that a percentage is a number out of 100. So we're talking about numbers in their decimal form that go up to hundredths, which are 2 decimal places. Between all three, fractions, decimals and percentages. Percentage of a quantity, which is a percentage of a whole amount. So what is 20% of 100, which would be 20, or what is 50% of 80, those sorts of things, where the quantities could be dollar amounts or measurements, weights maybe, all those sorts of things. Percentage composition is and percentage change are the more advanced calculatory things that we can do with percentages. And don't forget too that on MathSpace, if you need a little bit more instruction, you can view the lesson, which is like a textbook, has a chapter, has some words, paragraphs, examples that show you and explain the concept to you. So that's all to do with percentages. And now if you've looked at these videos that I've set for the lecture this week, you're well underway, so you've spent about 40 minutes, maybe you've already done some consolidation. So I don't have much to add to all of that this week. For my lecture, all I'm going to do is do part 2 of your Masterpieces to Mathematics activity. So what you had to do for part 1 was, it's in this before lecture part. For part 1, you had to create your masterpiece to mathematics, which was just out of a 10 by 10 grid, like a hundreds chart, for example, an empty one, and colour in the squares. There were some requirements about the colours that you could use. I did suggest that strong colours that complement each other will make your masterpiece more vibrant. Really, though, if you've used all pastels, you'll just get a different sort of an image. Once you've done that, I want you to have that with you or right in front of you, and I'm just going to go through some different things with my lecture now. So here we go. So, percentages. What I want you to do is set up this table. It's just going to have 5 simple columns, remembering that a column is something that goes up and down. I always remember as a column as like a Roman column, like at the front of the old Roman buildings, and it's going to have as many rows as you have colours. So if you only have 2 colours, then you'll have 2 rows, 5 colours, 5 rows, etc. Just write in the colour name here, or you might, if you want to recreate it and make it more of a visual table, then you might just colour it in, stick a post-it note there, it's the same colour, or cut out a colour that's similar and paste it on. Now the number column, what you're going to do is you're just going to count up how many of each of those colours you've used. So maybe you've used 10 of one colour and 50 of another, so just go and fill that column in now. Now this next column, this fraction column, all I want you to do is say, now if you know that you've used 50 of a particular colour, what fraction is that? So the way you answer the fraction column is by thinking about it this. So the total of one colour, how many you have of that one particular colour, and you write it as a fraction as over the total squares. So we've used a 10 by 10 grid. So the total squares there, that's right, it should be 100. So all your fractions will be out of 100. At this stage, we're not going to simplify them, although some of your colour fractions, I expect, could be simplified. But for our next two columns, the decimals and percentages, it actually works better for us to have them as fractions out of 100. So just leave them there for now. Now the next column is decimals. So to turn your fraction, which is already a number out of 100, into a decimal, we're remembering that these are just hundredths. So this could be, for example, 35 hundredths, and then I would just be able to write that number in here where my question marks are to make it 35 hundredths. So I want you to do that for all the different colours that you have. And then the last one is just about percentages. Now a percentage, as we know, is a fraction where the denominator is 100. So all of the fractions that we already have can be easily converted into percentages. Remembering, for example, if I had 35 of one colour, that would be here, and then that just becomes 35%, because percent is like the shortcut for saying out of 100. So that's all I'm going to add to the other videos that you've already watched. Just want you to set up that table and fill it in. Please make sure you do your consolidation. It's really obvious when looking at the results from the first accessible task that I've already looked at, the first fractions task, that those who have done the required sets that I set as consolidation exercises have done better on their maths-paced task. So please do your consolidation exercises, the ones that I've set, even if you're only doing those before you attempt your tasks. That's really pretty important. Coming in blind to it, you would be more inclined then just to make some syntax errors or not know how to type them in properly because you haven't practiced it. So it's not just about, yes, I know how to do the maths and being able to do it all on paper. It's also about just making sure that you're comfortable and submitting it in the particular way that that particular program asks. So please make sure you spend 15-20 minutes with your consolidation exercises before you complete your accessible task. And then because we're not having face-to-face workshops this week, all I want you to do for your workshop this week is your week 4 task that's down here. It's on your learning brief, which you can find on Leo. So you're going to do this particular task, which is you're going to change that table that you've had, your masterpieces test mathematics, fractions, decimals and percentages, and you're going to turn that into a pie chart. This particular website has a way to be able to do that, and you're just going to create a pie chart that displays visually all the data that you've just made out of your masterpieces. And you need to upload both your masterpiece image, whether that's a photo or you've already done it digitally, and also your pie chart. So there'll be 2 images to the forum for this, and then that will count as attendance for your workshop this week. I look forward to seeing all your masterpieces, and I'll see you the following week. Okay, great. Thanks everyone. Bye.